All right, so everyone, welcome to Kol Kol Shira in partnership with Breslov.org, of course, and Yeshiva Torah Shimon. Parshat Ki Teitzei. Well, we're getting close. We're getting mamish close now to Rosh Hashanah, right? Today's the 7th day of Elul. We're getting there, right? Or 8th. Today's 8th. Yeah. Baruch Hashem, we're getting there, and I hope everyone's preparations are going well. And we'll do a little overview of the parsha. It's so many. This parsha has, I think, the most mitzvahs of any parsha. It has 74 mitzvahs in this parsha. 74. Unbelievable. 613 in total in the Torah. Here we have 74. So we're going to go over. We'll go over a bunch of them. I recorded a couple of them now that we'll go over, and then we'll talk about a few of them, and then we'll learn something inside. All right. Here we go. So the top parsha starts up with the mitzvah of Yefas Toar. Okay, you go to battle, Ki Teitzei L'Melchama Alevecha, right? You go to battle, and the soldier sees a lady that he feels that he wants. So the Torah gives him the laws. He could take the lady back with him. He has to change the clothes, and she has to grow the nails, and she has to wait 30 days, and she had all the things. And then afterwards, he can take her, and he can have her as a wife. Okay, fine. Next one, the next mitzvah in the Torah is the Ben Sorah Morah. Well, it may make sense. It may make sense that if the guy went to war, I mean, he took a non-Jewish lady and he took her in, so they would maybe have a Ben Sorah Morah. I mean, it makes it's something to think about, right? Again, what kind of yichus does those children have? And the mitzvah, the Ben Sorah Morah, is a very, 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 very famous, it's a very, very hard thing to understand, right? Because on one hand, the Torah says it never happened, right? The Chazal tell us that it never happened, and then it was said that he was on the grave of a Ben Sorah Morah. So, like, which one was it? Did it never happen? And if it didn't happen, so they say, why was it written in the Torah? It was Dorish L'Kabel Schar. Otherwise, you'll learn about it and you'll get schar for it, but it never happened. So really, it's a whole teaching. We could spend 2 hours just discussing this idea of the Ben Sorah Morah. What's really the Torah telling us, and why did it never happen? And if it never happened, why is it in the Torah? So it goes like this. Really, we know that the conditions, the parameters of the Ben Sorah Morah there were so many different conditions, right? He had to be between 13 and 13 and a half. He couldn't be older than that. He had to have taken money from his parents and bought meat and wine. And it had to be a certain wine, a talki wine, some kind of Italian wine, a certain, he was a wine connoisseur, right? And he liked certain meats and something like that, right? But it says that both the mother and the father, they have to bring him, and they have to have the same voice. Really, that's interesting. How are you ever going to find that the mother and the father can have the same voice? And what's the Torah telling us? That they really have to speak the same way. They have to have the same voice. I believe it's coming to tell us really that really, in the home, the mother and the father have to have the same values. And they have to give the children, they have to teach the children the same values. It can't be that the father says one thing and the mother says something else, or vice versa, right? It's not going to work. And then maybe that's what it means, that they have to have the same voice. They have to speak the same. It has to be the same. And then the other thing is that really, can it be that a person can't do tshuva, right? Why is he the Ben Sorah Morah? He's the Ben Sorah Morah because we want to save him. Right? Rashi says this way he'll be put to death while he's a young man, when he's not chayiv he's less than 20, he's 13. They say he's not chayiv in einshim, right? And he did what he did, and this way you'll save him from growing up, and he'll wind up robbing people, and he'll be a menace to society, right? He'll be a menace to society, and then he'll have to be stoned. So maybe you could say, maybe stoned is you have to teach him Torah, give him good Torah lessons, give him Torah lessons and pelt him with Torah lessons. You know, maybe we could say something like that. You know, teach him good values and things like that. Anyway, it's interesting, the idea of the Ben Sora Mora, that it never happened, but he did. And what's the shot that he was on his grave? That was a guy that was he was the potential Ben Sora Mora, but he turned around. He did tshuva. He did tshuva, and he died as an old man. He died as a respectable person. He was a tzaddik. He died as a tzaddik. And that's really, we know that we don't really give up on anybody. We don't really give up on anyone. That's why I believe the rules are so difficult to understand, because, and the parameters were so particular, because we don't want to give up on anybody. Really, we want everyone to be able to come back to do tshuva, and we never want to give up on any hope on anyone. Okay, so that's a little understanding of that. All right. Now we have the next mitzvah. The person has to be put down. He has to get skila, right? So he gets skila, then he gets hung, right? After he gets hung, okay. And you can't keep him up overnight. You have to cover that mess. You have to bury him in the day. That's another mitzvah we have in the parsha. We have the mitzvah of hashavas aveda, right? Returning lost objects, right? You find something, the Torah says you shouldn't be nelam. You shouldn't look the other way. You find something, you're supposed to take it, and because you found it, and you're supposed to help return the aveda to the person. Today it's a big question, really, what avedas do people really want today? If a person loses, he loses a big pen, and you find the big pen. I mean, it's more than a shava pruta. Obviously, it's worth more than a shava pruta. But do people really want it today? Are they going to want it back? And that's really, it's an interesting thing today. Obviously, if you find someone's, you find the sum of money, you find the wallet, and then they have the simanim and things like that. Of course, you find an expensive watch. But again, we should understand. Now, we also know that in shuls, they always put up a sign because of the mitzvah of Hashavas Aveda. Everything that you leave in this shul here, it's considered hefker, right? All the shuls they put a disclaimer up, right? Don't leave anything here. If you do leave anything here, it's considered hefker. We don't want to take responsibility for it. Because again, it's a mitzvah in the Torah. And people, you don't want to be over to find who the owner is and so on and so forth. Okay, that's the next one. All right, next one. That's a Shabbos Aveda. Now we have the next one. We have the mitzvah of Tina, right? You see the donkey loading, right? We had the other one that it was unloading the donkey. Now this one is the mitzvah to help load the donkey. You see that the guy's having trouble, and you help him load up his donkey. That's the next mitzvah that we have in there. Then we have the loy silbash big day gever on an isha and so on, right? You can't wear, right? You can't exchange. A man can't wear ladies' clothes, and the lady can't wear men's clothes, right? Today we have they have unisex items, and I guess if you would buy a shirt that was maybe like a sweatshirt or something that's unisex, so I guess that would be okay, but it's not meant for any specific. But if a man can't put on a dress and a lady can't wear a men's suit, understand like that. I mean, today the world doesn't know that, right? The world, the ladies want to wear men's clothes and the men's want to wear ladies' clothes. But this is a law in the Torah. They can't be doing that. Right? Next one, we have the mitzvah of shiluach hakein. Oh, this is a big one, right? The mitzvah of shiluach hakein, sending away the mother bird, right? Here we have. How does the mitzvah work? Interesting mitzvah, right? You happen to be walking down. You're in the street, or you're in the forest, and you happen to see a nest with a mother bird, and the mother bird is over the eggs or the fledglings. Right, the little chicks, right? They're over the chicks. So the mitzvah is you shoo away the mother bird, and then you take the what do you call it? You take the eggs. Now you have to understand, to do this mitzvah has to be done. It can't be on your own property. So sometimes what people will do is, if they happen to find on their property a nest, so what they'll do is they'll make their property hefker, right? They'll make their property hefker, And then if the property is hefker, they can then shoo away the mother bird on their own property because they made it hefker. They made it ownerless, right? They made it ownerless, and because it's ownerless, so he can take it on, and then he can do the mitzvah. Now you have to understand something. It has to be the mother bird. So there are times that the mother bird's away, the father bird comes down to the. If it's the father bird, you don't get the mitzvah. It has to be the mother bird. It must be the mother bird, not the father bird. So it's and you have to happen upon it. Right? You can't, set it up that you have a nest and then the eggs come. It has to be that you happen upon this. And then there's a question that's asked. That the Medrash brings down a statement that if somebody would be saying, that this is, you're really showing it's the Rachmanis of Hashem. You're showing it's the Rachmanis of Hashem. This is something that I saw in the Zera Shimshon, okay? It's something that you saw that it's the Rachmanis of Hashem. You have to quiet him down. But then the Medrash goes on to say that the whole mitzvah is about the Rachmanis of Hashem. Not only that, the Medrash says that it helps. It helps, the Laman Yirban Yemechal Al Adama is the same idea as the Kibbut Al V'Aim. Right, the mitzvah tells us the Torah tells us what the reward is for the mitzvah. Interesting that the Torah gives us the reward for that mitzvah, right? And so the question is, well, are you supposed to compare it to the Rachmanis of Hashem, or you're not supposed to? So the Zera Shimshon explains it beautifully. He explains it like this. He says that really it depends when. It depends when. If at the time that you're taking the mother bird away, that you're sending away the mother bird, then that's not really showing Rachmanis. That's not really showing the Rachmanis, right? And he gives the example like this: the same way that if lo yaleinu, that if someone is sitting shiva, right? Someone's sitting shiva. So the law is that when you come in to be menachem oval, so you have to sit there. And you have to wait for the oval to say something to you. You don't approach, you don't start the conversation, right? And you're never going to say to the oval, you start off the thing and say, well, Hashem is really Rachmanim, Balarachamim, and it's really for the best. You don't want to say that. There's not the right time to say that. When the person's sitting shiva, he's in pain. So you don't want to give him a mussar shmooze. You don't want to explain to him how great Hashem is and how kind Hashem is. That's not the right time and place for it, right? But later on, right, after the shiva, you meet him in the street, so then you can explain to him all of these things, and he'll hear you. At that time, he can't. So that's what he says is the difference when if he says it's showing the Rachmanis of Hashem, it depends when. If it's while he's taking the bird, sending away the mother bird, while he's shooing the mother bird, you don't say that. Because that's sending away the mother bird, but afterwards you could say it. You can say, that's showing the Rachmanis of Hashem, that you sent away the mother bird. Oh, and now you can take the Afrachim, now you can take the eggs, the beitzim, the Afrachim, the thing, and now you can take it. So that's how we can make sense of that you should quiet him down, or you shouldn't quiet him down. It depends when. All right? So that's the mitzvah of Shiluach HaKein. It's a very beautiful mitzvah. I, Baruch Hashem, had the schus to do it one time. Baruch Hashem. Now, next one we have, another mitzvah, is if you build a house and you have a porch or something on your roof, so then you have to build a makkah. You have to put a railing. You have to put a railing around the fence, and that's mamash a mitzvah d'oraisa. It's not and it's a big, and you should know that if there are times that people, let's say, are doing an extension on their house, right? They have a porch, so you have to know that during that extension, while they're doing that, and they didn't put the railing up yet, you have to know that you really have to close off that area, that nobody should get to that area. You have to make sure it's locked up, it's locked off, it's covered up, boarded up, or whatever it is, that someone can't get to that situation because it's a very dangerous situation. Next thing is also It's a mitzvah that really you're supposed to do yourself. It's not a mitzvah that you're supposed to have a goy do, because it's a mitzvah d'oraisa to build a makkah, right? So some say, well, I'm going to pay the guy to do it. Yeah, but wait a second, a goy can't be a shliach. You can have a Jew be a shliach. If you want to hire a Jewish carpenter, you want to hire a frum Jewish carpenter to put in your fence, then that's no problem. Then you can make him a shliach. He can do it for you and it works. You understand the difference? Right? It's a mitzvah d'oraisa. This is a mitzvah d'oraisa to build this makkah. So now the mitzvah is, do I want to get the mitzvah, or do I want to, or I just want to put the makkah on? I want to accomplish the mitzvah. So if I want to accomplish the mitzvah, either I do it myself, right? You have your friend help you. You hire a Jewish, a religious guy that's going to put it in for you. You hire him as a shliach, and then you could be makayim the mitzvah of building the makkah on the fence. Okay, then we have the next mitzvah of shatnez, right? The mitzvah of shatnez, you can't wear linen and wool together. Right, we know that, right? And it's a very, very important mitzvah because, again, if someone is wearing a beged that has shatnez, every moment that he's wearing it, he's over the mitzvah, the avera of shatnez. He's over the lav of shatnez. So it's a very important thing. And Baruch Hashem, today we have shatnez laboratories. And if you have a garment, you buy a new suit, and you don't know if you didn't buy it from a Jewish place, and then where they checked it for you, and so on. So you can always take it to the shatnez laboratory. But it's a very important thing because, again, you don't want to be wearing a garment that has the shatnez on it, because then chas v'sholem, every moment you're wearing your nice suit, you're being over a lot. So we want to rack up mitzvahs. We don't want to try to rack up chas v'sholem averos. Okay, so that's another important one. Okay, now next thing is, if you have two animals plowing your field, let's say, or two animals pulling your wagon, right? So you can't have two different animals doing it, right? You can have two horses, you can have two donkeys. You can't have, let's say, a cow, a bull, and a donkey. Why can't you do that? Right? Why can't you do that? That's kalayim. Why can't you do that? I'll tell you something beautiful. Listen to this. We don't want to send two animals together. Why? Because two animals are different. The kosher animal, the bull, right? The bull or the cow or the goat, they chew their cud, right? They chew their cud. So when they eat, they chew their cud. So what does that mean? Their food comes up and they re-chew it. And they're constantly doing that. The food comes up and they re-chew it. Now wait a second. The donkey is next to him, right? Or the horse, the donkey, and he's next to this other animal here, and he's thinking, wait a second, he keeps getting food. He keeps getting food, and I'm not getting food. You hear that? Right? He keeps getting food, so we're causing pain to the donkey. We don't want to do that. We don't want to cause pain to the donkey. So therefore, the Torah tells you should have, that's just a nice thing just to think about. Right? How the Torah is so careful with all of the mitzvahs, how everything has to be so beautiful and everything is so thought out by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's amazing. So most of the time we don't know a reason for the mitzvah, but here I gave you something to think about where the two animals, we don't want the other one to feel slighted. So therefore, don't put two animals, either put two non-kosher animals together or two kosher animals together. Put two bulls together, two cows together, right? But don't put a donkey and a cow with a cow. Don't put a horse with a bull, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's that. Any questions on that so far? I mentioned a lot of things here. Anyone has any questions? We're okay? Right, so I can keep going on? Okay, let's go on. Here we go. I got plenty more on the list here. Okay. Okay. Now, next one we have is the Nar HaMarasa, right? The Nar HaMarasa. You have a girl that was betrothed, right? Nar HaMarasa is a girl that was betrothed. So she's engaged, right? He is engaged, right? Today we don't really have it like that. Today we do the what do you call the Tanoim, which is really the engagement, and we do the chasna right at the same time, within an hour, half an hour, whatever it is, right? We're going to do that. But way back when they used to do the erisin, they would do the tanoim, they would do that, and then a year later they would have a year later they would have the wedding. Right? So this way they would get everything ready, and they would have to build their apartment and get all their things together, whatever it is. Okay, they didn't have Amazon back then, I guess. And they didn't have, these mail order things that you go online and click, and they bring it to your house, right? They didn't have that. So, okay, now, so this girl was walking she's walking out she's in the forest, and chas v'sholem, she gets abused, she gets raped in the forest, right? And then they find out that she got raped, right? So what happens is, the one that raped her, he gets put to death, she goes off free, right? She goes off free, he gets put to death. Now, if she's in the city, right? If she's in the city, she's not in the forest, she's in the city, and he rapes her in the city, then they both get put to death. Why? Because she didn't scream. She didn't scream. In the forest, if she would scream, who would hear her? Who's in the forest? Right? Who's in the forest? No one would hear her anyway. So therefore, we assume it's only his fault. But if it's in the city, and she was raped in the city, and she didn't scream, that means she was okay with it. She was okay with it. She consented. Then that's a problem. Then because she's betrothed, it's a form of marriage, and therefore they both get put to death. So that's the laws of the Nara Marasa. Amazing, so many beautiful laws here. Okay, then we have the next mitzvah of the mamzer. Right, the mamzer, the illegitimate child, the child that's born under there was I think everyone knows what a mamzer is. Okay, that the mamzer can't marry into the regular. Okay, and then we talked about next one. We talked about let's see here. You have to keep your machane kodesh. You have to keep your camp. You have to keep your place holy. So there's a section in Shulchan Aruch. It's called Nikayon. Right? You have to make sure that the places are clean before you daven. Right? For example, you're out on a tiyul. You're taking a trip with your family. Right? And you want to daven mincha. Right? You want to go daven mincha. Now you have to check to make sure there's no excrement, there's no urine in that area. Right? You have to make sure there's no excrement, the urine in that area. You have to make the place holy. You have to make sure it's holy. Right? Shulchan Aruch says if you find excrement or something, you can either move it away, cover it over with dirt, right? Cover it over with snow. Snow works also. Or you can just cover it with even a plate or whatever you have there. You can throw something over it. You can put a piece of paper towel over it. Doesn't matter as long as it's covered. Then you're allowed to daven. Okay, but that's really for human waste, and it's for cat waste, and it's for chickens. Okay, then if you look in Shulchan Aruch, okay, it's not really, dogs are not really on that. They're not on that list. But again, I would recommend if you have to daven, even if there's a dog did his business in the street, cover that over. Also, it's not proper to daven. And the next thing is, if it ever would smell, then you have to go further away that you can't smell it. You have to go at least daled amos away from it that you wouldn't smell it. Okay, all right, and that's another thing. And you have to make sure you can't see it. You have to go back. You have to go further back. You can go further back from it that you can't see it, and then you walk another daled amos back, and then you're allowed to daven. All right, so these are the laws of keep your machane kodesh and so on. Okay, next one. Okay, then we have the next one. Here we go. The Baal Ta'ach. Okay, here we go. This is a good one. Okay, you're in shul and they're selling the aliyahs, right? They're selling the aliyahs, right? And you get this thing, they say, okay, this guy says $25, he says $50, and you just say, you know what, I'm in it, $500. Wow. Everyone goes, wow. Well, the Torah says, Balta, you have to make sure you pay that pledge. You can't make that pledge and not pay that pledge. You're over a law in the Torah. If you do that, Balta, you can't do that. You have to make sure you pay your pledges on time. All right? Now, okay, next one. Let's see now. Then you have the laws of the gittin, right? The laws of gittin. right? If a person gets married and the things don't work out, the two sides, so there's a way to fix it. You can do the get. Then we have in the parsha also the mitzvah of yibum. Yibum, right? You have a brother that got married, right? Brother gets married, and he dies before he has any children. He has no children. So you have to be Yakum Shem, right? You have to keep his name going. So the mitzvah is if there's another brother, right? Another brother, she becomes the Yavama. He makes Yibum with her, and he has a child with her in order to keep his brother's name going. Right? Otherwise, today we don't do that. Today we do chalitza, right? They spit, pull off the shoe, and the different things. Today we don't do yibum. Today we do chalitza. But these laws are in the Torah right here in this week's also. Okay. Then the Torah has also the years of the Shana Rishona, right? A person gets married, what he has to do for his wife. You know, there's different laws on the first year that the person gets married and how he has to treat his wife and so on. All right. Now, next one is b'yoyim titen tzchorei, right? The person works for you, right? You have a Jewish, okay, here you go. You had your guy, we were talking about the makkah, right? The fence, right? Now, okay, good. Now you hired the Jewish guy to build a fence for you. Okay, great. You have to pay him that day. You can't say, oh, I'll pay you next week. No, the mitzvah is b'yoyim titen tzchorei. You have to give him the money today. Now, if you made parameters, you know, you said to him, look, are you going to do this today? And you talk to him about it before, and you tell him, okay, listen, I may not be able to pay you today, but I certainly can pay you tomorrow or next week or whenever it is. And he agrees to that, that's okay. But you can't have the guy work for you and then you don't have any agreement made, then you're over on this lav of b'yoyim titen tzchorei. Again, any moment you don't pay him after the sun sets on that day, you're over a lav till you pay the guy. That's a big problem. People have to know that. You know, people just to think that it's okay. I'll pay him when I have the money. No. This is a Jewish worker. This is not if you hired a guy. You have a guy working here. This law is not pertaining to that. This is pertaining again to the Jewish worker. You have a Jewish worker, whatever he may be doing for you. He may be picking, you have a cherry tree, he's picking the cherries for you. Or whatever he's doing, a Jewish worker that's doing, you have to make sure you pay him his wages on that day. All right, there we go. Now we have, the next thing is on the scales. Right? You have your scales, right? The Mishkal, you have your scales. You have to have honest, you have to make sure that the weights are honest. We know that the Torah is very, very critical on that. And no, when you're doing business, you have to understand that really your parnasa comes from Hashem, and we shouldn't think that if I'm going to cheat on the scale, I'm going to make more money. Yeah, you may think you make more money, but you're not going to wind up, it's not, whatever was granted to you on Rosh Hashanah, stamped on Yom Kippur, handed out on Hoshana Rabbah, that's what you're going to have that year. You could try what you want, it's not going to happen. So the Torah tells you, keep your scales honest, make sure your scales are honest, and you don't want to do, okay, the last thing the parsha ends off with, I didn't give you all the mitzvahs, okay, I gave you a lot of them, but there's many more, 74. We went through a couple of them, okay? All right, but I just wanted to give you something to show you how many beautiful mitzvahs there are in the parsha right now. Then we have the mitzvah of Zechias HaMolek. Right, we have the mitzvah of the parsha Zocher that we read, in the 4 weeks that we have the 4 Shabbosim, right? We have Shabbos Zocher, right? And that's the parsha that we read. It's from this parsha over here. It's amazing, and to remember really what Amalek did to us, right? Asher korcha baderech. Right, Amalek was there. They tried to cool us down. In other words, we were so good with our avodas Hashem. Amalek comes and Amalek tries to put us down. And how do they do that? They do that usually with the pagama bris, right? They do that. They try to use immorality and different things like that. And that's the usual means that they'll do. And that's why you see there's so much immorality in the world today. It's unbelievable. Mamish. Unbelievable. Right? Okay, so this is the overview of the parsha. Does anyone have any questions on anything I said? I was just talking now for the past half an hour. So does anyone have any comments or any questions? No, wow, you guys are quiet today. Unbelievable. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right, so we'll learn something inside. So let's learn something inside. Here we go. Let's understand. So we're going to learn on now we know that this parsha Ki Teitzei is attached to it's in Chodesh Elul. So obviously it's a parsha preparing us for Elul, for Rosh Hashanah. And how will we understand that it's preparing us for Rosh Hashanah? So let's take a look in here. Okay, this is a piece from the Nesiv Shalom. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. Ki teitzei lamolchama leivecha v'nosnu Hashem elekecha b'yadcha v'shavisa shivya. Okay, so here, this is the pasuk, right? Hashem, you go out to battle on your enemy. V'nosnu Hashem elekecha b'yadcha. Hashem gives you the enemy, and you find for yourself what do you call it? Shivya. You find the fast toe. You find the captive. All right, now Mefarshim amdu ala loshen ki teitzei lamolchama. All right, what is this? You're going to go out to battle. Ki teitzei lamolchama. You're going out to battle. Shavle leimar. It would have maybe it made more sense. We're going to see why it doesn't. But here's the question: Ki silcham ba'avecha. You're fighting with your enemy. What is it? Ki teitzei lamolchama. Ki teitzei lamolchama aleivecha. What is it? Shorten it. Ki tilcham ba'avecha. You're fighting with your enemy. V'chein yavar yesh levar ma dekasav aleivecha v'loi kasav al oyev. Why is it oivecha and not al oyev on the enemy? Why is it written oivecha, your enemy? It's not the oyev, the enemy. Why is it in the individual? Oivecha. It's yours. Like if I say to you something, I use the word cha. It's you. But if I want to say in general, I say the oev. Right? Klal Yisrael has an oev. Right? We have an enemy where we have the Hamas and the Hezbollah and the Houthis and the Iranians. All these, they are the oyev, right? But that oivecha. You understand, guys? You understand the question here? Why is it not oyev and not oivecha? Shemashma shemedaba ala oyev hayedua. It's mashma. It comes out that it seems that we're talking about the well-known enemy. What is the well-known enemy? What is this idea? What is this over here that Hashem will give to you, and then you have the parsha of your fast Torah? What do the two have anything to do with each other? Here, let's go over here. Right? You go to battle. Why does it have to say such a long thing over here? Why do we need all of these words? He says, shouldn't it just say, why do you need all of these words? So let's understand that. Now those are the questions that the Nesiv Shalom asked. Now he's going to answer the questions. Okay, here we go. The parshas elu shekoyrim b'chodesh elul nemar gimel pamim ki teitzei lamolchama. In the parshas that we have in Chodesh Elul, we're going to mention 3 times the idea ki teitzei lamolchama. Parshas Ki Teitzei lamolchama aleivecha v'risa sus v'rochav. You go to war, battle, and you see your enemy, and you see they have a lot of horses, and they have a lot of chariots. And don't worry about it. Hashem says, I will take care of it. Don't worry how many they have. Don't worry, it doesn't matter. Like we went to war with Sancheiriv and that whole thing there, and they had millions. It doesn't matter. Hashem takes care of it. It makes no difference. Okay? Besides, Parsha Shoftim v'chan. Ki teitzei lamolchama leivech v'nasa Hashem alakecha b'yadcha l'halan. Ki teitzei machane aleivecha. So why is all these lashon? Why do we have all these lashonis? The Torah keeps talking about going to war. What is all of this? It's written in the Holy Zohar. It's talking about the milchama, the battle that the person has with his enemy. With his enemy. That he has with his enemy. B'nefesh hu hayetzahara. Oh, he's talking about the battle of the Yetzirah. The Zohar says we're talking about here the Yetzirah. We're talking about that we have that oyev, and that's why it says oyevecha, your enemy. Oh, because you have your Yetzer Hara. Now it makes sense. Not oyev. It's not a general oyev. No, it's not a general one. It's oyevecha. It's yours. What's that? What is that? We all have the Yetzer Hara. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it for better or for worse, whether we like it or not. Everyone has the Yetzer Hara, and we all have to deal with our Yetzer Hara. And that's the battle that the Torah is talking about. This is the Chodesh of Tshuva, right? This is the Chodesh that this is the month that we're supposed to be working on Tshuva. This is the month of Tshuva, right? You made Tshuva. Al Yehudi Ladas, Shekol Mitziosai, Olai Admos Hi, Lo Milchama Alai Vecha. We have to know the whole point that why Hashem put us on this in this world is to fight this battle with our Ayvecha, with our enemy. That's what it means you're going to go out. Teitzei, what does that mean? Midabe al yeridas ha'adam la'olam hazeh. Ki Teitzei means you're coming down into this world. You're going down into this world. Chaneshama yeredas mimokim gavoya me'olam haneshamas. The neshama comes from the highest place. The olam of the neshamas, the world where the neshamas are. In this place with all of the problems and all of the desires that people have, we take this great neshama from the highest place and we place it down in the shmutz over here? Wow. That's why it says when you're going to go down, where are you going into the world? That's Ki Teitzei. Miyad. Right away, when you leave the next world and you come into this world. So really, we know we have this every single day, right? Every day we know, every day we go to sleep, and every morning we say, Moda ani lefanecha shechazalta bi nishmasi. Hashem, you gave me back my neshama. So the neshama checks out at night, it goes back upstairs, and every morning it's Ki Teitzei Lamolchama. Every single day it's coming back into the world. Hey, how do you like that? Every single day, Ki Teitzei Lamolchama alai vecha. Okay, v'matorah. What's the target, the goal? Lamolchama alai vecha shetzarech miyad liftoyach b'molchama shelemana yored lo'elam hazeh. That's the reason why you came into this world. Bichdei lahasig yiudai. This way you should know your goal, your tafkid, v'tafkidai ba'olamai, to know what you have to do in the world. Kol yiridiyasai shel Yehudi lo'elam hazeh. He bichdei lemale shlichus elyoina lahatel olav HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The whole idea of this coming into this world is to place HaKadosh Baruch Hu upon you in this world. Shekol abriya v'chol yitzurei kedem baram HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'tzorah shlichus elyoina. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created everything in creation, all of the firmaments and all of the planets. And everything, all of the galaxies, everything is for us to serve Hashem. That's why He made everything. It's all for us to serve Hashem. L'tzorah shlichus al yoina. Ub'miyuchad Yehudi asher yeodai. Hu la'avrech b'bris Hashem elekech. You have to forge that treaty with Hashem. Ba'aliyasa yored le'olam. And with that, you go from this, you come into this world with this shlichus, this very lofty mission. You have a very lofty mission. With the battle on your enemy. And that's the whole purpose that we're doing in this world, is to fight the battle with the Yetzer Hara. Kamar Maran Admar Bal Beis Avram Sus Yogan Aleinu Biata Loi Atem Shalachtem Oisi. Hine Tio Alekim. You have to say to the Yetzer Hara, hey, wait a second, Yetzer Hara. The Bal Beis Avram is saying like this: you're telling me to do this. You're telling me to do this Aveira. Hey, you weren't the one that sent me down into this world. Hashem sent me down into this world. Why are you telling me what to do? Why are you telling me what to do? You're not my boss. You're not my boss. He wants you to think he's the boss. He's not the boss. Look what it says here. It's not that you guys sent me down here. Hashem sent me. He has to tell everything in this world, anyone that tells you something contrary to what you're supposed to do in Torah and Mitzvos. He tells you something, you tell him, hey, excuse me, hey, you're not going to tell me what to do. Hashem sent me into this world, and I have to follow what Hashem said, and I have to follow the Torah. Right? Taivasav is discussed, right? Lo yatem shalachtem oisihine. Lo lemanchem yiradati lo lamazah. I didn't come into this world to follow what you tell me to do. Ki alekim. It was for Hashem. Harav HaKodesh the Baal Noyam Elimelech, B'tzetel Kotten. The holy Noyam Elimelech writes in his Tzetel Kotten, a little note. He has that beautiful note. You can look it up. The Tzetel Kotten from the name Mamish, it's a hafla of it's unbelievable, unbelievable. So Adam lay niver ba'olam rak lishbor es atayva. He says that you only came in this world to break the teva. You have to break the teva. You have to break the teva. Break your nature. Nature says this, I'm going to do what the Torah tells me to do. Umar and Saba Kedishim Islonim, the Rebbe's grandfather, any day a Jew doesn't do something that he gets his Yetzer Hara angry. You hear this? A day goes by that you didn't make the Yetzer Hara angry. That means he told you, hey, go do this. And you said, no, I'm not going to do that. Hashem sent me into this world, and I follow Hashem. He gets angry. That's a good day. That's a very good day. That's a good day. That's a good day. Look what he says here, right? Lo yasa b'muma l'chayis says Yetzer Hara. That's not considered a day in your life. You want your days to count. We say we have to have a arichas yomim, right? We want an arichas yomim, right? We want long days. Right, arichas yomim. How do you get arichas yomim? Fight the Yetzer Hara. Any day you fight the Yetzer Hara, that's a day that you have that gets counted in it. Because again, you're putting Hashem first. Because you didn't accomplish anything on that day. Because the whole goal, the target reason why you came into this world, is to fight the Yetzer Hara on your enemy. Ki Teitzei on your enemy. It's yours, it's your Yetzer Hara. Okay, so that's one concept that we got over here. But now we know why it's not saying oiv, but it's saying oivecha, because again, it's your Yetzer Hara, it's not the general Yetzer Hara. Yes, we have a general run too, but the Torah here is telling us something specific. Why is it why we read this in Chodesh Elul? Because in Chodesh Elul we realize that we know that the Melech is Basada. We know HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in the field. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is here with us in Chodesh Elul, and we can just turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu anytime we want, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants our tshuva. We have to believe that. Hashem wants us to tell him that we're sorry. Hashem, I made these mistakes. Hashem, I don't want to make these mistakes again. Hashem, I'm sorry, Hashem, and help me. And the next one is, help me, Hashem, that I don't do this again. Ask Hashem for help. Ask Hashem for help. This gives Hashem the greatest nachas. The greatest nachas. When we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, please help me. Hashem, I need your help. I can't do this myself. This Yetzer Hara is too strong. He's too powerful for me. And I don't always remember that my whole purpose of coming into this world is because of to fight the Yetzer Hara. I don't always remember that, Hashem. Please help me, Hashem, to remember this lesson. And every single day. Now look, we have Yetzer Haras for everything. Everything and anything, right? Speaking Lashon Hara, talking in shul, right? Not listening to the Kriyas HaTorah properly. Not learning halacha, not doing shnai mikveh targum, right? I mean, we can list a list of many things, and these are all different kind of Yetzer Haras. So we have to always remember to tell the Yetzer Hara, you're my enemy. Hashem sent me into this world, not you. Okay? You work for Hashem and I work for Hashem. Okay? You work for Hashem and I work for Hashem. The Chavetz Chaim, when he was much older, so he told over that one morning the Yetzer Hara came to the Chavetz Chaim. And he said to the Chavetz Chaim, you're an old man already. Yeah, stay home. Well, why do you have to bother? Why do you have to bother going to the yeshiva today? You already accomplished. You already wrote the Mishnah Brura. You already wrote your other Svarim. One the Shmiras Halash. Okay, you already wrote yourself. You did your job already. Relax a little bit. So the Chavetz Chaim said to him like this. He says, wait a second. You're telling me I'm old? How old are you? Yetzer Hara, you're older than me. You're much older than me, and you're working still, and you're going to tell me that's not going to work? You understand? The Chavetz Chaim understood. He understood this lesson. Ki Teitzei la milchama al oivecha. He understood that he was fighting with his oivecha. He was fighting with his enemy. He understood that really well. Now, zeh nema al oivecha. That's why it says al oivecha, al oyev hameyuchad, that specific enemy. The specific enemy, shalacha, of yours. Let me just move this over. Every single person has their own goal, their own tafkid, their own, I think we could say their own purpose. Maybe their own purpose that they have to accomplish in this world. L'shem kach ba l'olam. And that's the reason why they came to the world. So how are you going to say to me, hey, okay, so we're learning this beautiful lesson here, that I came down into this world to do something. Hey, but when I was born, they didn't send, there were no instructions. I didn't get, there was no manual. My mother never gave me a manual. They didn't tell me what my purpose is in life, right? They didn't tell me what my goal is. So how am I supposed to know what my goal is? Good question. How am I supposed to know what the goal is? How are you supposed to know? You see that there's something constantly bothering you. Whatever that is. Whatever that may be. The guy sleeps too much. The guy eats too much. The guy wants too much money. The guy wants too much honor. Whatever the guy likes to read things he shouldn't be reading. He likes to look at things he's not supposed to. Whatever the thing is. Whatever that thing is that keeps bothering you again, you have to know that that is the reason why you came into the world. To fix that. And that is the very reason why it keeps coming up again and again and again. Why? Because that is the tafkid. Okay, so again, remember that. In other words, how do you know? This is a teaching from the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh, right? How do you know? Because whatever comes and bothers you all the time, then no matter what happens, if the same thing is coming back again at you, you should know the reason why it's challenging you all the time is that is your tafkid. Not that your person should think the other way around, this thing keeps bothering me, so I'll just give in to it already. No, you have to understand, if that's bothering you, that's an aveh, then you have to understand that that's the aveh that you have to really, really work on. We have to take that to heart. We have to take this to heart. It's a very, very, very important lesson. Excuse me, okay? Miskaber olav hayetzer hara b'yoysa b'koychos al tivia. Okay, harei ze oyev hamiyuchad v'zeu hanekuda shetafkidai l'takna, and that is my purpose for me to make the tikkun. And I have to make that tikkun. Ukenegda tzricha liyos mechunais beikar hamilchama, and in opposite we have to fight this war. Kama Rabba Kodesh Miklis Shegam HaYehudim Eichli Lirois b'Milchama Tzrichin Ladas L'Koila Sheyeshnam HaYereim V'Heina V'Heina Ve'enam Koilim L'Matora Umevazim K'Dereim L'Shava Al Adam L'Irchos Kol Koichos B'Nekuda Ma Shemizgaba Olav HaYetzer Hara. So in other words, really what's he saying? That there's all different kind of things. So a person will rather focus on something else. He'd rather focus on something else that he enjoys or something else. No. You have to understand that the point that you came into this world, and that's why you have to take care of this. Rabbeinu HaKadosh, really, a person should spend his days studying Torah and doing avodas Hashem, right? Doing avodas Hashem. The guy will come to the next world, right? The guy will go to yeshiva, right? He'll check into one of the big yeshivas, right? And he'll stay there all his life. He'll go there in the morning, he'll come back at night, and he'll go there in the morning, come back at night. He'll do that all the time, right? So you think that's great, right? That's great. Yeah, it is great. But when he comes to the next world, they're going to ask him, look at the question. What did you accomplish in the world? So he's going to say, well, what do you mean? I learned, the first Zman in the yeshiva, we learned 10 blot. Hey, come on, that was pretty good. And then the second Zman, we learned another 6 blot. And then the next Zman, we learned 12. Oh, that was amazing. That was the reason why you came into the world? Yeah, it's good that you did that. That's fine. But you did not address the main point of why you came into the world. In other words, you didn't go out there and challenge yourself. You weren't challenged. The guy, he locked himself he locked himself away so he wouldn't be challenged. So he doesn't know how things are going to be. He doesn't know. The holy Rishna, right? The holy Rishna, I'll just use him as an example to understand this. So he was sitting on his desk and he was stroking his beard and he was saying, "Oi, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do if I would be at the end of time. If I would be on that Dor Achrei, the last generation like we're at now, the time that we're living. We're in the end of time. If I would be in the end of time, I don't know how I would survive." The Rishna was saying that. The Holy Tzaddik was saying that. Because look at all the challenges we have today. Look at all the challenges we experience today. Look at the challenges we experience today with the political things. Look at the challenges we deal with today with the anti-Semitism, right? With the anti-Semitism, right? I don't know if it's true or not, but they said, maybe Yehuda, maybe you could tell me if it's true. They said that the FBI found that there was a guy coming from Canada, and he wanted to make a major attack on 770. He wanted to make a major attack on 770 on October 7th, on the anniversary of the Shechita that happened here in Eretz Yisrael. He wanted to make another attack now in America. Why did he pick New York? He said because New York has the biggest in outside of Israel, has the most Jews, so he'll be able to kill a lot of people at one time if he does it. If he goes to New York, you hear this? Mamash a pachad otzim. Right? I mean, that's in New York. The guy was coming he was coming from Canada. I mean, I don't know. You guys can tell me better about it, but that's what my wife was telling me over here, and I believe she usually gives me the good information, okay? Anyway, so the guy comes in this world, and he's learning and this and that, but he comes to the next world, and they say to him, buddy, you didn't accomplish anything. So now listen to this. So now you're bothered all the time with the Yetzer Hara. You should know that that's the reason why you're here. Don't try to get away from it. Don't try to run away from it. You have to deal with it head on. You have to deal with it because that's the whole purpose of why we're in this world. Right? Parshat You can only do it with Mesiras Nefesh. What's Mesiras Nefesh? You give it your all. You give it a little more. You exert. the more you exert into the mitzvah. You have to exert, you have to put some effort in, a little bit of Mesiras Nefesh. Why is Mesiras so important? Because whatever you accomplish with Mesiras Nefesh is what you earn. If you can just open up a sefer and just read, read, easy, that's not Mesiras Nefesh. If you have to work on reading, and you have to work on, and you're breaking your teeth on the word, that's Mesiras Nefesh. Breaking your teeth on the words, understanding, that is Mesiras Nefesh. and what you accomplish with that you get to keep anytime. Whenever a person is going through a Yerida, right? They're going through an Nisayim. They're going through a test. So in Shemayim, they take away your levels. They take away everything. But they can't take away anything that you accomplish with Mesiras Nefesh. What you accomplish with Mesiras Nefesh, that's yours. That's yours. That's considered yours. It's in your mind. The same way when you go to take a test. Right? They don't let you bring the test. You know, you can't bring your computer to the test. You can't bring your smartphone in with Google and all of that. And you can't bring your notes and the textbook to the test, right? But whatever you have in your mind, you can take, right? What's you keep in your mind all the time that you have? That's the Mesiras Nefesh. That extra effort that you exert. Okay? Al derech hayotzim lamilchama sheyotzim al menas limsor es nafshe. When the people go out to battle, they're giving over their souls. And I can tell you that firsthand. I meet all the time with the Chayalim over here. And they're the sweetest people that you can meet anywhere. These guys are the best of the best. These are family men. These are the most beautiful people you can imagine. And they go out there and they give it their best. They mamish give it their best. They do their best. These guys are mamish the finest of the fine. You know, New York thinks that the NYPD, they're the finest of the fine. Baloney. They're the finest of the fine when they're going to Dunkin' Donuts to get their donuts and their coffee. Right? That's what they like to do. The guys that we have over here, the Chayalim, the mamish protecting Amcha Beis Yisrael. They're protecting Eretz Yisrael. These guys are being Meiser Nefesh. That's true Mesiras Nefesh, what they're doing. They don't think about themselves. They think about the land. They think about the people. This is what Mesiras Nefesh is. You don't think about yourself. You think about what my goal is in life. Why did Hashem put me in this world? What was I put in this world for? And when I do that, that's the Mesiras Nefesh. That's Mesiras Nefesh. The same way like we use the example with the Chayalim, the soldiers. They give them that, we have to do the same thing. That is the very reason thing and the very thing that I have to fix. We have to take on that war with that same Mesiras Nefesh. And how do you do it? You say to the Yetzer, very simple, buddy. You were not the one that sent me into this world. Hashem sent me in this world. It was Elohim. Hashem sent me in this. I have a mission to do. So you don't tell me you're working for Hashem, so am I. I have my job, you have your job. You get out of here now because I'm going to do my job. You get out of here now because I'm going to do my job. The same way the Chavetz Chaim said to him, hey, you're saying that I'm an old man? Oh yeah? You're much older than me. Don't be afraid. We can't be afraid of the Yetzer. Don't be afraid of the Yetzer. We have to fight the Yetzer with Mesiras Nefesh. Then why is he going out to war? The same way the soldier goes out to war. And he has to be selfless. He can't think of himself. He has to think about his mission, what he's doing. This is our mission. This is our life's mission. And that's why it's so fitting that it's in the Chodesh Elul, to get us ready to come to Rosh Hashanah, to get us ready to make the tikkunim for the whole year, all the things that we may have made mistakes on. But remember, this is the month that it's very, very easy. It's very easy for us to come back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every morning you hear the shofar blowing. You're hearing the shofar blowing. It's to wake up, Uru Yeshenim Mishinaschem, is to wake us up from that spiritual slumber. We hear the shofar to wake us ready. And that we blow the shofar till Rosh Hashanah, till Erev Rosh Hashanah. We're going to blow the shofar every day till Erev Rosh Hashanah. All right? Erev Rosh Hashanah, we don't blow the shofar because we want to mix up the Satan, right? It's amazing. I always was wondering about that. You think by now he would have figured out that, we don't blow the shofar because we're trying to mix him up, right? You would think after all these years, right? See how dumb he really is? See how dumb the Yetzer, how the Satan really is? He's not that smart. So what we're learning over here, we can mamish overcome the Yetzer Hara. And we learned about all these beautiful mitzvahs in the parsha, right? The beautiful mitzvahs in the parsha. And we should be zocheh to be mekayim the mitzvahs that we learned in the parsha. And the main thing is make sure if you hire somebody, pay them on time. If you happen to come upon the kan sipar, you come upon the nest, try to do that mitzvah, right? Remember you're doing a mitzvah d'oraisa. If you're doing construction on the house and you build and you're having an open roof and you didn't put the fence on it yet, you remember that's a mitzvah that you should do. You shouldn't have somebody else do that. Unless he's a Jewish guy, and if he is a Jewish guy, make sure you pay him on that day. All right, so you accomplish a lot of mitzvahs, and this is what I prepared for this week's parsha, and I hope everyone enjoyed the class. And does anyone have any questions before we leave? Does anyone have any questions? Please, I would like to hear something from somebody. Come on, guys, something from somebody? Nothing? Wow. Okay.
The reason why you pay the guy.
Yeah.
Is because the next morning you're going to meet him in the show, and you don't want him giving you the evil eye, so to speak. That's why.
No, but that's cute. Okay, that's cute, but that's good, Zushi. But really, the reason is because the Torah tells us, B'yom titein schara, on that day you have to pay him, and that's the reason why we're going to pay him. All right, so that's a beautiful thing. And know something. If you do hire that Jewish guy and you pay him, realize you're being mekayim a mitzvah d'oraisa by paying him. It's so beautiful. Mama's grab in as many mitzvahs as we can. These are mitzvahs. So we have the opportunity to do a mitzvah. Grab in that mitzvah. We ask, go ahead, Mark. Do you have a question?
It's just a little critique. Unisana is the word. Unisana. Ki Teitzei not for us new.
Okay, unisana. Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, us know. Right, you're right. Okay. We have we have the Balkora here. That's good. No. We love it.
This parsha. My father told me, Baruch Hashem. To learn Ki Teitzei.
No. I know. Listen. I love it. Thank you very much. We all have to learn. It's wonderful. Thank you. All right.
You gotta read it right.
And the Shnai Mikra Echad Targum. Here we go. We're going to do that. Yes, we will. Okay. So I want to wish everyone a beautiful Shabbos and Mitzvah Hashem, and thank you everyone for joining. And Mitzvah Hashem will meet again next week. Be'ezrat Hashem. Okay. Okay. It's a call to everyone for joining, and everyone that's going to listen. Anyone that's going to listen on the YouTube afterwards. So everyone, I wish everyone a good Shabbos, and we should hear all besorot tovot. We should hear good tidings. Okay, kol tov, everybody. Bye bye.
Thank you.